Okay, hello everyone. I'm Alexandra Badoy, head sommelier at Meraki Restaurant. Thanks for joining us on this lovely day. It's spring bank holiday here in the UK and it's sunny there, full of good energy, so let's get started. Today is the first episode of our wine series here at Meraki, and we'll be here every Monday at 6 o'clock UK time to bring you amazing wine producers closer to you. I have chosen to start our series with Edward from Ousyra Winery. He's joining us from Syros. Let's add Edward. Oh, amazing. Cool.
Right.
Hello, Edward.
Sorry about that. Okay.
That's all right. We're getting there. How is
Great.
the weather on Syros Island?
It's very warm. May is a lovely time of the year. We're just coming out actually of 10 very, very hot days where we went from about 22 degrees up to 38. So it's been very uncomfortable.
Wow.
And we were right in the middle, beginning flowering in the vineyards. But we've come out of that now, and thankfully we're fruit setting, and hopefully we should get through a slightly cooler next few weeks, which is great.
Amazing, cool. So I was reading about your winery and about yourself a bit, and I was just wondering what has attracted you, to the world of wine and becoming a winemaker.
Yeah, well, it was complicated. I was always fascinated by the connection between wine, food, and people. I had a background. I studied hospitality in England, in Oxford, and I essentially became very interested in wine that way. Moving to the island and building the winery was certainly a lifestyle choice. We had been living in Athens for some time. And I like the fact that every day is slightly different. And certainly the Ousyra Winery was a big leap of faith. It's a very personal winery. We're very small, and it's very exciting because Greek wine, as I'm sure you know, is going through radical changes.
Yes, it is.
And we're, as a winery, we're really enjoying showing what this island can create through our wines.
Okay, but is it somebody who actually influenced you to get into the wine industry, or somebody who you admire?
Yeah, I was working in Canada at the Post Hotel in Lake Louise, which had 36,000 bottles of wine. And I was invited to a tasting of Burgundy from 1970s.
Oh.
And I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was able to prepare for it. And I was asked a few questions that didn't answer too well. I answered okay, I think, the answer. And so after that, I started reading about wine, more literature, just certain books which were really important to me, from Hugh Johnson's autobiography to Kermit Lynch, details on the wine route, and just things like that. It transported me into a world that I really enjoyed. And then also here in Athens, years before we plucked up the courage to start making wines, I was introduced to Chuck Wagner of Camus Vineyards in Napa Valley when he was in Athens visiting friends. His passion and clear advice on how to start a winery gave me the confidence to move forward. It's an inspiring story to see someone who has inherited a vineyard and a winery from his father, and then built upon it, and it has laid the groundwork for his children to also flourish in the wine business. So for me, I think that really communicated to me, and hopefully we are at the moment working on creating something that our children can be a part of and in the future build on.
Yeah, that's very important to have a legacy for your children and for the rest of the world. because
Yeah.
you're going internationally.
Yes, yes, we
Okay,
are.
tell us a bit about the island of Syros. What has to offer? What are how is the terroir there and the grape varieties?
Yeah. Syros is it's a very interesting and important island. It's the capital of the Cyclades. 25,000 people live here all year round, which is quite unique. The town is made up of beautiful marble streets and neoclassical architecture. It's known as the jewel of the Cyclades, of the Cyclades Islands. So there's year-round life, culture, and fortunately, excellent transport links. So this enables us to send, travel, and promote the wines that we make. Not all over the world yet, but we're starting slowly to get the wines around, which is fantastic. The terroir of Syros is a juxtaposition. It's very varied. In-depth soil analysis shows us that in a sort of 2 square meter part of the vineyard, we have granite, we have schist, we have limestone, we have marble fragments and sand. So it's really fascinating. And when a geologist comes through, they're quite confused. And when that variety of soils transfers flavors into the roots of the vines and in turn the wine, you get a really unique quality and character in your wine, which won't taste like anything else. I like to think that you can taste the soils of the area in our wines. So I love taking clients down to the vineyards and tasting the wine amongst the vines and letting them taste what they see. So we aim to sort of transfer that terroir into the glass so that it can become a liquid expression of the landscape, or a bit of Syros in your glass, if you like, if you're sitting in London, which is lovely.
I think, yes, that's very important, especially with, I'm not saying you have lots of competition on your island, but like all over, like especially Greece is trying, to push their wines.
Yes.
So it's very, very, very important to show exactly each part of the country, each island, what has to offer. Tell us a bit about your vision. What's your philosophy behind your winery?
Well, it's as I said, I mean, we're a small family-run winery, and we're very fortunate to work with a top team of growers and consultants. So our philosophy essentially is to make quality wines with this idea of authenticity and loyalty to its origin. And what we decided very early on as a winery is that we were going to work with rare indigenous Cycladic varieties. So we chose Serifiotiko, which has found its home on Syros. It's originally from the island of Serifos. And I had heard Serifiotiko as a variety being spoken about for many years. I've been coming to Syros for 38 years of my life. So we went into the vineyards and we chose to champion Serifiotiko because on closer inspection in the vineyards of Syros, it had adapted the best to the climatic conditions that we have here. And whilst retaining the essential ability to lock in that freshness of fruit and acidity, it's not a hugely fruit-driven wine, but it is a mineral-driven wine, which makes sense. If you stand here within our vineyards, you'll see that it's very dry, it's very arid. We don't have enormous amounts of water. We dry farm all of the grapes and all of the vineyards. So
what would you say is your production?
At this point in time, so this year we made 4,300 bottles of Serifiotiko, of our white wine. And we also we've made a lovely rosé, which we absolutely adore, from a very rare variety called Focchiano. So we brought that, we bring those grapes over from the island of Naxos.
Okay, so you're growing only the Serifiotiko?
So we have Serifiotiko. We farm and receive Serifiotiko. We have our own vineyards, and we also buy from a few farmers.
But though still the production is very small.
Yeah, very small. Yeah.
And yeah, this is what I actually have here. That's what I opened today. Your wine, the Serifiotiko.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna taste in a minute. I just want to ask you, what challenges have you been confronted in your winery, in your vineyard?
Challenges. Well, as a winery, as I was saying, we farm and receive grapes. So our biggest challenge on Syros was to find growers who understand that they're growing wine, not just grapes.
Oh yeah,
and that's really important to what we're doing. We needed them to understand that we're making a premium product, and we need to use that precision farming, and in order to do that. So everything is connected, and that's something that I love about wine. I love the fact that today I'm talking to you in London. Tomorrow we're preparing to bottle a second rosé that we have. Yesterday we were in the vineyards, and it's not, you know, when we try to say to the growers on the island, it's not possible to just inherit a vineyard and do a few days of work a year, and then to be paid premium prices. You've got to live in the vines, and you need to. They need a great deal of care and attention, and trying to make them understand that we can deal with 90% of the problems that what we get thrown at. It's that 10%, which can be so challenging. So what we have within our vineyards, and we're trying to advise the growers as well, is there's a structured organic spraying schedule, and obsessive attention in the vineyard. So we're going down every single evening to see what's happening and check that everything's on track.
So you have a close relationship with them.
We have to, yes, and the same also with our growers on Naxos, who we're very fortunate to work with. Yeah.
Cool. So I have chosen to taste today your wine.
Okay.
Tell us a bit more about I don't know, what food would you pair your wine with, and
yeah. Well, okay. Well, I mean, obviously it's a Greek wine. So what we would do, we would suggest that it should be paired with Greek or Mediterranean cuisine. It's perfect for that. The freshness and the acidity in the wine allows you to go from eating light meats to local Greek cheeses, to a fresh.
Yeah, I definitely have this with some grilled fish, or especially, I don't know, today is so sunny, you know, like having a barbecue with the lovely fresh fish on the grill.
No, I think, or, you know, salads with capers or sea samphire, and, you know, and then go back to the beginning again, Greek meze style, everything in the table, this idea of real, genuine Greek hospitality, which we love to do down in the vineyards. We have lunches sometimes with select clients, and that's exactly what we do. We put everything in the middle of the table. Yeah.
It's all about the sharing, isn't it? The sharing concept, and that's what we try here as well in Meraki, you know, to teach people that it's all about sharing. It's all about giving the love, the attention to all the food and drinks, whatever you put on the table. So yeah, everyone is like, because in London, they used to order, you know, like, I don't know, starter, main course, dessert, you know, everyone having their own course. And coming here, we are like a family, you know, with everything in the middle, everyone is sharing, and they're like, oh, actually, we love this. So that's the Greek hospitality, which we're trying to bring in London, and people are actually enjoying that.
Yeah.
Okay, the question of the century, because everyone is talking about that. How does global warming affect your vineyard, and what measures have you taken to combat this?
Yeah, very important question.
That's a tough one.
Look, it's a tough question, but it's something that we're certainly prepared for as a team. We know obviously the temperatures are rising. There's no doubt about that. On the back of our wines, we love to put our bloom and harvest dates on the bottle, which not everyone does, because our clients love that sort of information. And because if you look at previous vintages, I can see that we're harvesting earlier and earlier each year. So as I said, we dry farm the vineyards because water is a major issue on the island. So this also dictates the importance of the varieties that we should be using. So not every variety will thrive, obviously, everywhere in the world. So you need to listen to what the land is telling you and then adapt. So what we use the bush vine growing technique within the vineyards, which is great. It means that the vines are protected from the heat. We have a very, very strong UV light on Syros, some of the highest recorded in the world. And then also the wind. So our vineyards are sort of carved into the mountains to protect them from the north wind that will come down in the summer. So a lot of that really is also the experience that we're very lucky, as I said, as a winery to be working with fantastic consultants. And again, I'm very happy and proud to have my consultant, Spiros Ougoulis, who I work very sort of side to side with on a daily basis, because his experience and his fathers and his teams have more than 100 years of experience working with these varieties or Greek conditions. And the one thing that we're always seeing, as you quite rightly bring up, is the temperature is just rising. So within the vineyards and other vineyards that we've seen, you'll see a row of Savatiano or a row of Varieties, and they'll be struggling. But in that, the third row is a row of Serifiotiko, and it's the strongest vine. So we're playing to our strengths as a winery, and we believe that that's probably the future for us as a variety.
Cool.
Yeah.
And do you have any new projects upcoming?
Yes, lots. We like to keep very, very busy.
Very good.
So essentially, I don't want to rest on what we've done so far. We want to keep building. So next week, we're just arranging at the moment transportation for new fermentation vessels from Italy, which is very exciting. Okay. And that will enable us to bring out even greater characteristics of these varieties. And then we have a new vineyard with an old rare variety, which will be introduced next year, which is great. And
can you disclose what will be?
No, not yet.
Not yet, okay.
No, not yet. But when I do, I promise I'll send you a sample personally. It's okay.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
So from your own experience, what advice would you give to somebody who would like to start their own winery?
Right. Well, let me think. Look, I think obviously with any profession, you would need to be sure that making wine is really what you want to do. So you could start at the beginning like I did, or probably like you did as well, through the WSET in London. I did my courses and I loved it. And one of the things I remember being struck about doing the WSET courses was, for me, I wasn't hugely academic at school or at university, but it was great fun. It was a hobby studying wine. It wasn't difficult for me to do. The other option in the UK, obviously, is Plumpton College from a degree perspective. Sit those exams and then, I guess, get the qualifications on paper and then gather as much hands-on experience as possible as you can in wineries, best wineries if you can. What I've noticed in the wine world is that, and I was very lucky with this, is that the people who are the absolute best at what they do in the wine business, and I'm sure it's the same in many other businesses, are always happy to offer advice and help you. They're not insecure about helping a new young winemaker or someone who wants to start and getting into the wine business. So all that work experience is really important. It's hard work, but if you're one of those lucky ones and it becomes your life, it's hugely satisfying. I love being able to wake up on a Monday morning and be excited about what I do. So it's simple. The basic, from my expectations for myself, I've always said, trust yourself, your vision, and then also your tastes, and don't follow trends. Ignore the skeptics. There's lots of them.
Because both of the wines which you produce,
yeah.
they're not that trendy, and they're actually not that well known.
No, I don't think you and I would be talking right now if we were making wines with varieties like everyone else. What we did was we listened to what the market wanted, and then we adapted while trying to do something different. But what we've been very clear about as a winery is as we surround ourselves by the absolute best team. So the best team of growers that we can find, our consultants, our wholesaler in Athens. We've got a fantastic wholesaler called Athinagoras, who came to us last year before we'd even bottled and said, we want to work with you. We believe in what your vision is and where you're going with this. So all those,
So about that, because you mentioned your connection in Athens, I know as well that we're having now somebody very special to both of us.
Yes.
Janos from Maltby Greek, who represents your winery, among others, here in UK.
Yes.
I'm gonna just try to see if I can add him, or Janos, if you're listening, if you can, I don't know, request to be online. I'm so sorry, I'm new at this as well. I have a question here. What is the future of the Serifiotiko, and how possible it is to see this wine in the shop, in the wine shop?
Well, I think you're going to see. I think that you see it as a variety. It is gaining quite a lot of interest, which is great. As you said quite rightly, and prompted me, is we're very privileged to be working and to have been invited to work with Maltby Greek, who are importing a very select group of wines and Greek products, of course. So they're doing obviously a great job, and they've introduced us to you, of course, and I think we've seen the sales in the UK since I came over in February to do the launch with Maltby Greek exceed anything that we expected, which is hugely positive, and it just shows that the UK is a very important market for the Greek wine market. So yeah, I think there's a big future for Serifiotiko.
I'm just trying to see how to add Janos as well. Here we are. No, don't have any luck. Okay, I think so. Janos, if you're watching us, if you can request to join our live session. Instagram became so complicated lately. Okay, no luck there. Okay, cool. Okay, so if anybody else would like to, actually I have here somebody who says that they're gonna get married in Castellezio next September. I think next year is gonna be, and they're asking me, would you recommend these wines as the like the aperitif? So I think this wine would go really, really nice, so you can have it on its own because it has such a refreshing minerality, and obviously it's very food friendly. But yeah, I think you can have it by itself. What do you say, Edward?
Yeah, no, we're very happily drink it ourselves, without food in the evenings, and with food, of course, and the rosé as well. I know we have not going to taste it today, but rosé.
Well, I have tasted Focchiano
last
week, yes, and it was absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
It's one of the rosé which I would go for. Because everyone, they're like, oh, Provence rosé, but now it's time to shift their minds and to show them something different. So tell us a bit about Focchiano.
It's a very rare cycladic indigenous variety, and our idea was to make rosé. Our team are highly experienced at making rosé, but I had said that I did not want to copy what other wineries were doing, i.e. in the form of grape varieties. So we found a exceptional grower who is, I mean, he's teaching us all sorts of things. It's amazing. And we brought over 2 tons of grapes, no, 3.5 tons last year. And we made about 1,600, 1,800 bottles. Nothing. Very experimental. And essentially last year it was at the Enorima Festival in Athens. One of the regional chairs for Decanter magazine, Sarah Jane Evans, chose it as one of her favorite rosés at the whole competition. So very quickly we saw that there was possibly a real demand for what we were doing. So this year we quadrupled production and we've made 7,300 bottles. But we only did that as long as we didn't, lose quality in the vineyards, which we didn't. And yeah, last week, Maltby Greek sent mixed cases through to Jancis Robinson and Julia Harding, and both rated both of the wines really well, especially the rosé, and it's great to be just a little bit different, and it is different. It's not similar to anything else that I've ever tasted, so that's great. That's what we wanted.
Cool. Guys, I'm so sorry. So, Janos, if you can actually answer to our question, because I have a question for you on writing, because I definitely can't find here how to add you as well. Sorry about that. Okay, I just want to know how you came across Ousyra Winery and what convinced you to add them into your portfolio. That was my my question. Definitely. I can't, no. No.
He's replying.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool. I'm sorry about that. I know. It's just.
I think it's gonna be very hard for him to answer a message, but essentially, what I know of the story.
Okay, Edward, jump in, please. Help us.
Let me explain. From what I remember was Stefanos, Janos's business partner at Maltby Greek, Stefanos Kokatos, was on holiday on Andros. And we had a very small collaboration with a small shop down there, which was importing organic products or organic and conversion products. And I think Stefanos saw it. He thought it was a little bit different, tasted it, enjoyed it, and got in touch with us, which is great because, as a small winery on a very small Greek island, it's not always easy for people to reach out or find you. And so I got back to Stefanos straight away, and from there, it's grown sort of really quite organically. I sent Stefanos photos during the harvest of us picking the grapes and the bins. And
oh, really?
Children picking the bins, and my father and his wife and things, which is great. As a family winery, that's what we're trying to do. And so then, as soon as we got close to bottling and things, we talked a little bit more. We hammered out an agreement and quantities.
Yes, because it's very important, and they know I'm getting upset if I don't have my stock during the year, the whole year.
Well, I mean, oddly enough, this year we might be all right. We've obviously, Greece has been on shutdown as well for some time. It's starting to open up from today, but again, we're not absolutely sure how the market is going to react this year. Some hotels where our wines had been placed might not even open, which is a great thing. Because our wholesalers here, rather like Maltby and Greek in London, are trying to place us on, not everywhere, but some of the very best places. And that's what we want as a winery. So we'll have to see. But I mean, as I said, London, we were expecting to send one transportation sort of, over. And we've sent, we've sent 2 or 3 over now, which is fantastic. It's very positive.
Well, yeah, we really hope to get back to normal and reopen our doors soon. And
Yeah.
hopefully we're gonna get at least, I don't know, maybe the last month of the summer or something like that. I don't know, having everyone on the terrace, anything, you know. We're missing our work, and we're missing to open our doors here.
Of course.
Cool. I think I believe our time is up, and I want to thank you very much for your time this evening. And obviously, I want to thank to Meraki's friends for joining us and watching us. Next Monday, I'm gonna have Chloe Varieties, which is a very famous female Greek winemaker, and I'm looking forward for that. Thank you very much, Edward.
Thank you,
Keep in
Alexandra.
touch, stay safe, and see you around.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. So see you next Monday. Until then, stay safe.